Good evening and welcome to, I started to say something else, but Best Listener Ever. I guess I was getting ahead of myself with the title. I'm your host for this presentation. I'm a 68-year-old black man coming to you from deep in the heart of Texas, the Gotham City of the South, and welcome. Please like, please share, please subscribe if you see anything of value here. And we hope that once people start clicking on the link, which I will attempt to post right now, that you will be liking each other. You will be liking uh, yourselves. And that's the whole idea. This is a talk show. And I am a talk show host and have been for some time. And we invite you to engage with us. The title is clear. I hope it's not obscure. Now it's Black Tears Matter as opposed to Black Lives Matter. I have to sort of go back in time to when I first began to read about Black Lives Matter, and I felt like the best place to read about Black Lives Matter was to go to their website. Well, it took me all of 5 minutes to figure out that Black Lives Matter was not concerned with my black life, not as a black man, not unless I was dead. But I couldn't die of natural causes. I couldn't die of health issues. I had to have my brains blown out into the street. But I couldn't have my brains blown out into the street by another black man from the streets. I had to have my brains blown out into the streets by the police. Your life didn't count to Black Lives Matter unless you were killed by the police, regardless of the circumstances. And you didn't necessarily have to have your brains blown out. You could be asphyxiated. You could be choked. I suppose you could be tasered to death, as long as the person who tasered you to death had a badge and a uniform on. Now, once I read a couple of paragraphs on the website and the description of what I consider to be a black man, I understood that they weren't talking about me. They weren't referring to me. They weren't concerned about me. And when I saw who had originated the organization, such as it was, and any presentable males that were a part of the organization were, well, for want of a better term, gay. If you prefer LBGTQ plus squared, do that. But I'm not going to prolong this presentation. I'm going to use the shorthand term, gay. You had to be a gay male if you were going to be in their hierarchy, anywhere in their hierarchy. And it was females that were going, well, they had to present as females. I don't really know what they refer to themselves. And I'm not, and don't get me wrong, I don't have anything, I have no problems with people who are gay, binary, lesbian, transgender, or anything else. I don't have a problem with that because it's not my problem. It's not my issue. I know what I am. They know what they are. But once you put it out there into the public discussion, apparently now everybody has to be one or the other or another or the other or some combination of all of them. So I never found common cause with Black Lives Matter. And the people that viewed Black Lives Matter as a movement sounded foolish to me because Black Lives Matter was never a movement. And whenever I said that publicly, and I did, I never had to qualify it. If you don't know the difference between a movement and a campaign, let's say, let's just bring Count Chocula into this. A lot of people thought the Obama campaign or campaigns were movements. Obama was never about a movement. The election of Obama was a campaign, a political campaign. Witness the fact that once he was elected and after his second term, he pretty much just dropped off the earth. And everything and everybody that worked to get him elected sort of disappeared. So there was no movement in electing an identifiably black man to the presidency. Also, there was no movement involved in nationwide global protests over the execution of black men at the hands of the police. It was exactly what it is proving to be, a grift, a real estate grift. Witness the multi-million-dollar homes purchased by Patrisse Cullors. I can name her because everybody else, and everybody knows it's true. And even she has acknowledged that she used one of the multi-million-dollar properties that she purchased, and is probably in her name, with her name on the deed, with money raised through Black Lives Matter or Black Lives Matter Global Foundation or some other dummy, conglomeration or whatever company to get real estate for her use and the use of her close confederates, her partner in Canada. They purchased, I think it was a $10 million property in Canada. Now, one property they bought for $6.5 million. And when I say they, it's a little vague on who is holding the money, who is managing the money, and who is spending the money. The only indicator we have of what is being done with the money are these multi-million-dollar properties, which are inhabited by Patrisse Cullors and her friends and cronies. Now, this week, she was approached, and notice how they always send one to get one. When the question started being asked, she started crying and whining and slinging mucus, complaining that the media were after her, that the racist media were after her. So what did the media do? They sent one to get one. So I'll spring another name on you, Candace Owens. Everybody knows Candace Owens. Everybody knows Candace Owens' story. So they sent Candace Owens out to the property where Patrisse Cullors was. One black woman, or identifiably black woman, depending on how you look at it, because everybody that looks black is not black. Let's get that straight right now. Everybody that looks black is not black. And looking black doesn't make you black. Looking black does not make you black. Not in the world today. It's what you do. It's how you act. It's your state of mind. So they sent Candace Owens out to hoorah Patrisse Cullors, so that Patrisse Cullors could not say the racist media was out to get her. And she cried, and oh, how she cried and bawled and just wept all her crocodile tears, and how she was being persecuted, and how worried she was about her family, and how everybody needed to circle the wagons around her to protect her from the media and Candace Owens. And Candace Owens, smelling blood, is going to milk this for all it's worth. And the media are going to use Candace Owens to get to Patrisse Cullors and Black Lives Matter. What a world. And it would, I guess it would be funny if Black Lives Matter hadn't made its platform based on picking the bones of dead black men. And that's exactly what they've done. Not only that, I don't know how many people across this country have been injured and maimed some of them killed during Black Lives Matter protests, right here in the Gotham City of the South. The city is having to settle with injuries to people who were shot with non-lethal rounds during Black Lives Matter protests. One woman, I had to question the soundness of her mind, was pregnant and went downtown here to protest in a Black Lives Matter protest and was hit with a non-lethal round. She was pregnant. What pregnant woman goes to a possibly violent protest? I don't know if she lost her baby or not. I hope she didn't, but I don't know. I don't know for sure. But if you're weak-minded enough to be pregnant and attend a possibly violent protest, I think you've accepted some risk there to yourself and your unborn child. How many times was that scenario repeated across the country during the run of Black Lives Matter? How many of you donated to Black Lives Matter? Not just your time and turning out into the street, but your money. They raised tens of millions of dollars. Where is it? Well, we know some of it is in real estate. And don't think for 1 minute that any of you can go knock on the door at any of those properties needing a place to live. Don't think that for a minute. So sympathy for Patrisse Cullors? None. And I don't want to leave out Alicia Garza, Opal Tometi, just because they've stepped aside, or any of the local organizers and people who slid in under the fence in the name of Black Lives Matter. Now, I will say this. I interviewed one reverend, a female reverend, who's in Oklahoma City. And I don't know if she's still affiliated with Black Lives Matter. She's an organizer. She was the organizer in Oklahoma City. And I had her as a guest on a radio program, and we had a great interview. Wonderful lady, intelligent, well-spoken, knowledgeable. And she raised the issue at that time, and this has been over a year ago, mind, before all this publicity came out about the properties. She raised the issue of the central leadership not dispersing funds to the local chapters of Black Lives Matter and what was going on with the money. It was an issue over a year ago, before the news broke about the properties. And I learned a lot. I'd like to have her back. I'd like to have her right here. Since I'm traveling to Oklahoma City in the near future, I may try to contact her while I'm up there. But I'll keep you posted on that. But it seems to me in the world today that all you have to do is put black in front of any kind of foolishness you can think of, and people will think it applies to them. Black donuts matter. People will be going out buying donuts. Huh? You know, I don't believe in running anybody or anything down. But you can't fix stupid. And we should have learned during the Obama years that just because somebody's identifiably black doesn't mean they stand for anything to do with you. I think most people would agree that Clarence Thomas, being a black man on the Supreme Court, doesn't have anything to do with black people as we know them. I think most people would agree. But they only agree to that because he's a Republican. If he was a Democrat, Clarence Thomas would be the best thing since sliced bread. And would have been from the beginning, but he's a Republican. Ketanji Brown Jackson. Oh, she's the greatest thing since sliced bread. But if she was a Republican, she would get the Clarence Thomas treatment. She's a Democrat. Is there a pattern developing here somewhere, somehow? Is there an inconsistency here somewhere, somehow? You honestly believe that because Ketanji Brown Jackson is a Democrat, she's going to be a better representative of Black people on the Supreme Court than Clarence Thomas is? You believe that, Black people. White people don't care. They're just, very blasé about it. They don't have to say anything about it. They can just act like it's not happening. But for Black people, Lord have mercy. How many chickens had to die so people could celebrate the elevation of Ketanji Brown Jackson to the Supreme Court? How many? Good grief. I used to get aggravated, but I don't get aggravated anymore because I don't expect anything anymore. And anybody that speaks up and speaks out gets marginalized. They don't get interviewed in the media. Certainly not. They don't have any platforms to speak on. They can't denounce what's going on. But look at your own community, your own locality, your own neighborhood. Most of the people, Black people, who are in so-called positions of authority, whether elected or appointed, are merely Black faces in high places. They don't mean anything to the Black community. By and large, they're not responsive to the Black community. Look at the cities on the Eastern Seaboard in Chicago, where they have Black mayors. What are they doing for the community? Who do they represent? Who put them there? And what are they doing now that they're there? I'm talking about Lori Lightfoot, Eric Adams, whoever's running Baltimore now. And is the mayor of Boston Black? I don't know. I don't think so. But wherever you find a Black person in the top office locally, you can just be guaranteed that they don't stand for issues that pertain to Black people. They're just a Black face in a high place. Now that may sound derogatory, and I suppose I mean it that way. But in most corporations and anything else, wherever you see a Black face, you can just about bet they were put there by the white power structure. And they are beholden to the white power structure, because if they were not, they would not be there. Now, that's a little divergent from the topic, but Black Lives Matter was always a grift, a tens of millions, multi-million grift. And what has it done? Black men are still being, shot to death, tased to death, asphyxiated by police, and it will continue. It hasn't abated, and it will not abate. It was never meant to abate. That was not the goal. The goal was to raise money, and they did. I'm wondering what so-called Black movement has raised as much money in my lifetime and shown so little as a result. Good and fun for Patrisse Cullors. But what about the rest of the Black people? As I was referring to, though, one property was purchased for $6.5 million. It had only recently, days before, been appraised at something like $4+ million, which meant that whoever controls the money for Black Lives Matter, Global Foundation or whoever, paid almost $2 million more than the property was worth. So the person or persons or company that sold the property got a $2 million plus windfall. They had to know how much the property had been appraised for, but they paid more anyway. Where'd that money go? Where did that money go? Who got that money? Grift is grift, whether it's thousands, tens of thousands, or millions. And if you need to look up grift, be my guest. Grift perpetrated by grifters. And people ought to be more astute about it going forward, if possible. I hope people won't be as simple-minded as they have been in the past. I've spoken too long. I've probably said too much. I often do. Please like, please share, please subscribe. Click on the notification bell. And see, the reason I say such outrageous things sometimes is to pique your interest and to see if you agree or disagree. I don't need people to call in and click on the link to agree with me. That's not why I do this. That's not what I'm looking for. If you disagree, you're more welcome than someone who might agree with what I say. Let me show you how I do it. Let me show you how I roll. That's all I ask is a chance. I'm not going to beg for it, though. We are fast approaching a library of 50 uploads. And once we reach that level, we'll take a break and assess what we've done up to that point. And we will come back even stronger. We're not going to give up. We're not buying any subscribers. No, thank you. We're not putting people's names in the titles. We're not putting people's names in links. Celebrity people or names you would recognize. Oh, let me click on this. Let me view this. They're talking about so-and-so. No, we don't do that. Let me remind you, in case you're not reading the fine print. Number one, you're going to keep your money. Number two, you can't use the N-word. I'm sure that's running a lot of people off. That's keeping a lot of people from even watching the videos. You can't curse. That's running off a lot more. You can't discuss celebrity or YouTuber gossip. Oh, that's just driving people all the way to China and back. They'll never watch this. I don't need them anyway. All right. No libel or slander, which is a little more nebulous, but we'll get into it when we get a chance. If you have any questions whatsoever about anything we do or will not allow, all you have to do is email me. I will answer all emails. It's going to take a little while for people to gather that they can email me because people have to be viewing the videos. I think that the people who have viewed the videos have had their questions answered. If you have any questions, feel free to ask them and I will address them. Please like, please share, please subscribe, clicking on the notification bell. In the meantime, don't let anybody make a monkey out of you. Although Black Lives Matter made a monkey out of millions of people, millions of monkeys out there with Black Lives Matter t-shirts. Oh, well, Black Lives Matter signs in their yards. Black Lives Matter, I guess, bumper stickers. You know, I don't know. It's not much you can do with people these days because what they see is what they think they're going to get. It's like Count Chocula. They saw this identifiably black man and they thought they were going to get somebody in the White House that had their interests at heart, identified with them, was going to do something for them. Well, show me what you got. Out of 8 years of the Obama president, 8 years, show me what you got. Here. All right. I've overstayed my welcome. I sometimes do. But tomorrow, we will not be here until later in the afternoon. As soon as I get back to town, I will schedule the next live. And we will post some lives tomorrow, late afternoon and evening. We will work very hard to achieve a goal I have set, and we'll go forward from there. Thank you for joining us to this point. Thank you to those who are watching right now. Thank you to those who have watched other videos. Thank you to anyone who takes part. In the meantime, I've already asked you not to let anybody make a monkey out of you. Don't make a monkey out of yourself. Take care of yourself. Take care of each other. And peace. Above all, peace. Thanks for watching. And good night.